Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Happy Friday. That's a gloomy one here, but happy Friday. We are, thank God, almost to the end of this week, and it's been a doozy for everyone in America, I think. And it certainly was for me. So yeah, here we are. Day six of coffee week. Day 1 was Candleberry French roasted coffee. Day 2 was Swan Creek roasted espresso. Day 3 was Goose Creek Coffee House. Day 4 was Stranger Things Hopper's Coffee and Freshly Brewed Coffee from Bath & Body Works. And day 5 was Espresso Martini from Homeworks. What a disaster. So we have 3 more coffee candles to go. 3 more. I have my special bowl here. Today we are reviewing, you already know because it was the thumbnail, but I don't. Village. We are doing Village today. Village Candle Coffee Bean. Coffee bean. So here we go. And yes, we still have so much wax in here, so that's a bad sign right off. But, I mean, there are some positive things as well. So this is Coffee Bean from Village. Village, if you're not familiar with Village, Village is a candle company that obviously looks a lot like old school Yankee Candle. And when they started being sold at Marshall's or TJ Maxx maybe about 10 years ago, I assumed that they were like a proprietary TJ Maxx Marshall's knockoff of Yankee Candle, but that is not actually the case. They are their own legitimate company, and I believe they were a state of Maine company. Now they're definitely a state of Maine company because they were bought by Stonewall Kitchen. Stonewall Kitchen is kind of a gourmet food company. They have started developing their own candles under the brand or under the label Stonewall Home. But they also manage Village Candle on their website. This is one of the few candle companies left that still pours at 100% paraffin with the colored wax, very old school Yankee. Many of their fragrances are considerably above average, but plagued by performance issues and strength and throw, which is a common concern amongst all candle companies, but it does seem as though Village has kind of had a long, slow trajectory downward as opposed to upward over the last 10 years. I don't think they've hit the skids quite in the same way that Yankee Candle has. They've stayed for the most part with their fleet of candles and fragrances from of old, which is always kind of a good idea, especially if you have a pretty good backbench of already a lot of great fragrances. And like I said, most of them are actually quite good. Some are very good and some are just kind of decent. But there are very few candles from Village Candle that smell terrible, to be perfectly honest. Even the ones that they market for Marshalls and TJ Maxx. The only question is, how is it going to perform? And as you can tell here, this one did not perform very well. I think I bought this one off of Amazon, maybe for Prime Day or something like that. But I think this is one of their kind of core candles, Coffee Bean. So the notes listed here on the bottom of the jar are the 3 main ones: espresso, roasted pecans, and tonka beans. And then let me see here if I have more extensive notes. No, the notes on the website were exactly the same. It just gave top, middle, and base. So the top note is espresso, the mid note roasted pecans and coffee bean, and the base note of tonka. And that's about right. This candle is very beautiful. It reminds me of the fragrance of Candleberry probably the most. And I said that this one kind of smelled like an amber tonka note. You don't notice the amber or tonka smelling this one. It's maybe a touch more chocolatey than the Candleberry. Maybe a little bit less roasted, but it still has that deep, warm, rich, bassy coffee fragrance. It actually smells great. It smells great. And I did think this was like my second best fragrance of all of them. It's really, really nice. It's just a really nice coffee fragrance. It doesn't have too much chocolate. It doesn't have too much smoke or char or scald. It's really a very nice coffee fragrance. They do have a scent story for this one. Quote, no need to brew a fresh pot to enjoy the rich scent of coffee with our bold, smoky coffee bean candle. Not getting a ton of smoke. Featuring notes of toasty pecans, tonka beans, and deeply roasted espresso, this coffee-scented candle is at once familiar and exhilarating. Enjoy that energizing aroma no matter the time of day by lighting our rich coffee candle, unquote. And yeah, deep, rich, bassy. It's a little less aggressive than the Swan Creek candle. The Swan Creek candle is very aggressive. It's a punchy, punchy candle. And as I said before, Swan Creek, this fragrance is firing on multiple levels. And while many of these candles like promise that they've got an espresso note and a coffee bean and of this and of that, actually, this is one of the only candles, I think, in this round that actually does a legit smell as though there are different brews in this fragrance. It's the only one that's kind of giving you a very multi-varied coffee fragrance. You've got lots of different coffee notes in here, which, like I said, lends the kind of feel that you're in a coffee roastery or a coffee shop where there would in fact be many different varieties of coffee. For the most part, all of these other candles kind of give you a singular coffee experience. It's one bold cup of coffee. I think Swan Creek is kind of a standout in that respect, that it's giving you like a lot of different scent notes that still hang within the category of coffee or espresso. This one is, again, smooth, rich, deep, but one coffee note for sure. It says roasted pecans. I mean, maybe something vaguely nutty, but like you're going to get vague nutty from any kind of coffee because it is brewed from coffee beans, which has a very nutty kind of aspect to it. I'm not getting anything that's like overtly pecan-ish. But a roasted pecan would kind of be an adjacent note to a coffee bean. So there is that. Yeah. It's no more than you would expect from like a legitimate coffee bean fragrance. So the reason that we've got so much wax here though is that it had terrible burn quality. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. This is like the exact opposite, frankly, of the Espresso Martini candle from Homeworks. Espresso Martini from Homeworks burned like a dream. Super hot, super high, like came to play, burned all the way down to the wick clips, right? I mean, just burned like a dream, but didn't have any fragrance to speak of, let alone a strong coffee fragrance. Village Candle, coffee bean, burned exactly the opposite. It was about as bad a burn as you could possibly get, but it was a beautiful, rich coffee bean fragrance. I mean, it's a better fragrance than, for instance, freshly brewed coffee from Bath & Body Works. It's warmer, it's richer, it's deeper, it's punchier. It's just so, it's a really great coffee fragrance, but terrible. So I have crocked this, and I did crock it, and it lasted the better part of a week. It really did. My crock is actually in my back bedroom. I don't know that I would call a black coffee like a really good bedroom scent, but man, it smelled delicious and beautiful and gorgeous. And I just let it kind of do its thing back there until I felt like I had gotten a lot of the fragrance out. And it was over a week, frankly, that it was a strong crock burner. I think it filled that space at least, I mean, for the few days, at least in the 7 range. So it's not a bad fragrance. And honestly, if it burned like in any kind of a reputable way, you might have gotten good strength and volume out of it. Here is a picture of what this fragrance did when I tried to burn it. Friends, yes, that is not only in a hurricane, but that also has a Yankee Candle Illuma lid on it. And it still would not pool, and it was puny, puny, puny. I think at one point one of the wicks went out. I tried to burn this. Well, here you go. And I know it doesn't look like a whole lot, but it is a lot. When you've only got 2 wicks and you've got this strong paraffin, I probably burned it 4 or 5 times. And finally, I just said, I can't do this anymore. I just can't. It refuses to stay lit. And I just couldn't get anything out of it. Once I put it in the crock, oh, here we are. Oh, here we are. This is a beautiful fragrance. It's gorgeous. It's strong. It's powerful. It's roasty. It's all the things you want from a coffee candle, but I couldn't burn it. So I don't know what you want to make of this review. It's a beautiful fragrance. It's a beautiful color wax. It's delicious. And it's really would be a coffee candle that would give Swan Creek a run for its money and certainly rank very high in this 8 if it had burned, and it didn't. So I can't give you any kind of estimate on what the strength and throw of this candle would be if you burned it in a traditional fashion. I could not. I could not. I don't know what's going on at Village. I don't know what kind of crazy wicks they're using. I don't know if it's a wick issue. I don't know if it's a wax formula issue. No, I more often than not, I cannot burn a Village candle for burn reasons. And it's such a shame because the fragrances are usually fantastic. They're at least decent, if not fantastic and superb and intriguing. And they have that amazing deep bassy paraffin kind of fragrance. Paraffin holds fragrance so well. And many of those Village candles are just fantastic because of the paraffin. But you can't just pour paraffin in a jar and hope for the best. I don't know what the wick situation here is, but it just seems to be a wick situation to me. And these wicks were underwicked, I guess. I learned this from Virgil from South of Sanity. Espresso Martini was overwicked, probably. Coffee Bean from Village is underwicked. I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. So there you have it. Village Candle Coffee Bean. It's fantastic if it could burn. So maybe I got a dud, but honestly, it seems like more often than not, Village has trouble with burn quality. So unfortunately, I don't think that it's an anomaly. Really too bad. Would I prefer burning Coffee Bean or Espresso Martini? No to Espresso Martini. Oh my God. So bad. Yeah, I would buy Village Candle over Espresso Martini. And I would hope that somehow it would burn correctly and I would know that I could always throw it in the crock and get my coffee smell from that. Because when I had it in the back bedroom, for a week, it was just coffee back there. So I did burn some limited things, but I just made sure that they blended well with the Village candle, and I had a pretty good sense of how they performed without the backdrop of the Village candle. It was just kind of like candles that I was kind of burning down a little bit, like a pumpkin spice or something like that. I would throw it back there. So it definitely, as with most coffee candles, blends really nicely with things. And if you have a candle crock, and or I suppose if you melt, top down or whatever else, you might be okay with it too. But right now it's just really hard to recommend Village Candle full-throated. You know what I mean? And I hate seeing it because they're one of the few candle companies that still pour in 100% paraffin with the old apothecary, old school vibe, and with really above average fragrances for the most part. But I don't want to fight with a candle when I pay $18 for it. I don't want to fight with it if I'm paying $10 for it, frankly. So it's just kind of a tough sell. I'll link the information down below. If you've tried it out, definitely let me know what you think. But yeah, Village Candle Coffee Bean had so much potential, but unfortunately just undermined by, plagued by really, really bad burn performance. That's what I've got for you, my friends. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll catch you guys in the next one.